Hey guys, hope you're doing great. I'm just here at my office. We're about to have our team call here. But before we jump on our team call, I wanted to actually come on and bring one of our incredible students here at CCI on for a quick interview to share with you how she went from averaging $8,000 months in her coaching business before working with us to all the way going up to having 14, 15K months in our CCI program. So we're gonna go ahead on. Really excited about this. As you guys are jumping on here, give me a wave down below. Comment down below live if you're watching the live video of this. If you're watching the replay, of course, comment down below team replay. And let's get this going, guys. So we're going to try to add Taylor right now. See if this works. Sometimes the technology can be fun and takes a little bit. But hope you guys are having a great Monday. As you guys are jumping on here, give me a wave down below. If you're coming to our challenge starting later today to help you get some clients, comment down below. Or and I think we are making this work. Taylor, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing? Oh, it's frozen a little bit. Frozen a little bit. Can you still hear me, Taylor? Let me know, let me know. Oh, it's a bit frozen. Can you guys still see me? Let me know if you guys can still see me. We're gonna make sure that we get this working. I'm gonna Wi-Fi here. Oh, we weren't able to connect. We'll try that one more time. But as we're getting all this tech figured out, give me a bit of a comment down below where you guys are watching from. Also, are the gyms open where you guys are at? I know a lot of you guys are really, really excited about the gyms reopening. So comment down below if the gyms are reopening where you're at and you're excited about that. And we'll try to bring Taylor back on here in a second and share with her. And I'm always excited about these interviews, by the way, because it's a real behind the curtain ability to see these people. Oh, there we go. I think we're back.
Did that work?
I think we're on again. So
okay.
Let's try this out. Let's try this out. Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. I was getting a call at that time and I was like, no.
Oh, that happens to me often, actually. I have to put my do not disturb on because it's happened way too often. So, but anyways, how's your day and your dog going so far?
This is my life. I might have to move locations because they want to join in on the party.
That's incredible. My dogs do the same thing all the time as well. So I'm excited about this. So as we dive in, the first thing I want to do, and as you guys are jumping on, give me a hi down below, hit me some hearts on the side. But let's start by just kind of introducing yourself, Taylor, who you are, what you do, so people can get to know you a little bit, and then we'll dive into a little bit of your story before CCI, with CCI, etc.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Taylor, obviously. I am an online health and wellness coach. In my Instagram bio, though, I have literally written not your average coach because I don't do the typical, here's your workout, here's your diet, I hope that you lose 10 pounds sort of type of thing. My biggest thing is helping women learn how to shift their mindset and their relationship towards food, exercise, and their body, and really figuring out what got them to their current predicament to where they're at and how can they move forward.
Amazing. I love that. And I think that's so important. As the world's getting smarter and there's more coaches in the online space, you have to learn how to, number one, be better than maybe the average and also be different, right? And that's something we talk quite a bit about, actually. So, okay, that's awesome. So now let's give everyone a little bit of an insight of business pre-CCI. And so let's talk about a couple things. I mean, obviously you had some good months every now and then. It was a little bit more sporadic, but talk through where everything was at before CCI so people can just have a bit of a picture of what it looked like.
Yeah, so before I came to CCI, I had hit in 10K months, but they were very like forced and pushed, and I never knew if I was going to be able to hit them again. It was a lot of stress because I didn't have really a structure for it. I didn't know, okay, how can I hit this 10K month again? And that was the biggest thing that I came to Ruben for, because obviously I wanted to keep hitting those 10K months, but not in a way that was causing me so much stress.
Right, totally. So it was happening before, it was a little bit of a push. And so basically, and I remember some of our first conversations, we talked a lot about lead generation. We talked about making it more consistent, less sporadic. And that's something we see a lot, right? Where people, they come to us and they're kind of having high and low months, but it's not actually going consistent. And so before working with us, and I know we talked about this, but I actually remind me, was your main thing just like posting content and hoping that people would come to you, or how did like lead generation go?
Yeah, so it was mostly through calls to actions of swipe up through my link on my story or click
Right.
the link in my bio or DM me with whatever word it was. And that was how I got my leads that I would bring in. So it was never very like consistent. It was just
Right.
let me post and hope for the best.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I mean, one of the reasons you go because you do have a bit of a bigger following on Instagram, and you have good content. So you did get some results, but you're right, we couldn't control that and the metrics of it as much as utilizing the method, etc. So now, one of the questions I always love to ask people is why they actually decided to invest in CCI. Because there's lots of business coaches, there's no lie about it. What actually made you decide to pull the trigger on CCI from your standpoint?
Your genuine kindness. You probably remember I had a coach before you, and that's why we had been talking since I want to say like November, but I was with a current coach. And you kept following up with me like we'd set a date each month, and you just kept coming around. And I just knew like once I finished this, I need to work with Ruben. And then some very unfortunate things had happened with that coach during my time with them. And you were just so supportive and kind. And that was something that my old coach was really lacking. She just saw me as a number. I actually didn't work with her. I worked with one of her co-coaches, and she didn't tell me that whatsoever. So when we were on our calls, you were very open, honest, genuine, and real. And that's something that I learned that I really needed in a coach.
Right, totally. And that's, we talk about that all the time as far as being like transparency really should be number one. And number two, we always talk about heart-centeredness. It's actually one of the values to CCI is how to be a heart-centered business. Because there's a lot of businesses that are they're just in it for the money. They're just in it for whatever, having a certain amount of influence. And we truly believe, and we say it all the time, that you need to connect the heart-centered entrepreneurs with some business savvy tactics and tracking and all that kind of stuff, and then we get results. So let's actually dive into that. So first couple months in CCI, we started to see a growth projection, which was great. But more than the growth projection was the ease of getting the leads, and then also the consistency. So talk us through that a little bit, and you can actually share like some of the things that really worked well for you in CCI. I always love it when clients have to share like, hey, this one thing that you taught me worked really well, because our audience, I mean, then they can get some ideas about what that is. So share with everyone a little bit of that experience of what started to work, what was helpful, was it the tracking, the strategy, what was it?
It was the structure and the loop method specifically.
Okay.
So when we were working together, that's when the quarantine had happened. And I'm so my coaching session with you because I definitely freaked out a bit, just like everyone else did. But you gave me a really good like method to still get people into like move up from a cold audience to a warm audience to a hot lead. And that was very, very helpful. So moving through the loop method, I had a value piece to get people interested, and just being able to have like a structured lead strategy was the biggest thing for me, because besides that, it was just I would post and hope for the best.
Yeah, totally, for sure. And so I love that you said a couple things as far as the loop method helped you understand, okay, people need to go from cold to warm to hot to paid, and how to do that again and again and again, and there's no like questioning to it. And then the second thing you talked about is the structure, and it's actually starting to track things. And this is something I always say, it's like the unsexy stuff that we teach people. How did it feel to you going from not tracking a lot to we track a decent amount of things? How did that feel? Was it a little bit hard, but was it helpful? Talk through that a little bit.
In the very beginning, it took a little bit of time to get used to, because I just wasn't used to it at all. Just being able to figure out, okay, how many people did I get my value pieces out? But at the end of the week, being able to reflect and see, okay, how many did I actually get out? How many turned into phone calls? Well, it basically gave me structure in the form of what worked and what didn't work. And it laid it all out for me, because before that, it was just, everything was chaotic.
Right. Totally. And that's really what tracking helps you do. And we talk about this actually in all areas of your life, which is that self-awareness is one of the principles for growth. You need to be able to be self-aware of what actually happened, and then you need to learn from it. And the only way that you can be self-aware in business is if you track what actually goes on. So you track it and you're self-aware, okay, I did this and I got X result. So now I can learn from that and be like, okay, if I do this better or do this more or do this different, I can get a better result. And that's one of the things I saw. And I remember the couple of first weeks when it just started to click with you and you were like, oh, this so because before you were like, my biggest problem is lead generation. And halfway through our program, we realized that lead generation really wasn't your problem. Once we just dialed in a couple things, then it was, oh, we needed more help with capacity and fulfillment. Because all of a sudden, I remember the 1 week, I think you got, I don't know how many clients, it was somewhere like, it was crazy. It was like 5 to 8 clients. And all of a sudden you're like, I need help with other areas because there's too many leads. And so talk through that, because we went from kind of like a 6-figure run rate to we're almost at like a multiple 6-figure run rate on an average basis. So what has shifted? What shifts have you seen or you've had to make in business to be able to continue to see that growth?
Realizing that I don't have to do this alone, that I can reach out for help when I need it. I'm very much a perfectionist in the sense of if I can't do it, no one else can. So Ruben definitely changed my mindset around that and showed me that reaching out for help was good. I hired my little sister. I hired one of my best friends who was my previous client to take over on other areas that I just couldn't really nail down on because I had so many new clients. Like for instance, helping me in the DMs, being able to help manage my community groups, things like that. And so I learned that it's okay to number one, ask for help, and number two, how beneficial it is to actually bring on other team members, and you can trust good people. So
yeah, there you go. It's one of the key things with all of our clients that go from 6 figures to multiple 6 figures, whether it's the 15K months, 20, 30, whatever it is. That's the biggest thing, understanding that you can't do it all and you shouldn't actually. And team is a good thing, no matter which way you structure your business. So, I mean, this has been crazy helpful. If this has been helpful so far, guys, make sure that you comment down below and say that it's been helpful and hit some hearts on the side. Now, I just wanted to ask one last question, Taylor. So, for the people watching, there's a lot of people here who are just starting their businesses, who are maybe full-time income, maybe 6 figures. But what would you say in the last 3 months was the number one most helpful thing? Maybe it was habit, maybe it was a tactic, maybe it was accountability. What was the number one thing that allowed you to go from consistent 8K months to now we're kind of averaging about 14K months? What was the one thing in your opinion?
just one thing. I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing.
Okay, we can do 2 or 3, but short.
Okay. Number one is the accountability. Accountability really helped me. Every week I knew that we were going to have to hop on a call, and therefore we would be going over my metrics. And if I didn't hit my metrics, I'm very competitive, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I only got in, 20 value pieces versus 40 value pieces. So accountability was huge. Structure was more than everything for me. It actually gave me a system to look at and see what works, what doesn't work. And then 3, just having a heart-centered coach that doesn't see you as a number, actually sees you as a human being and wants you to succeed with, what works best for you. That was probably actually my number one.
That's good. That makes me happy because it's kind of the little movement I'm trying to lead as far as heart-centered coaches starting to win more and more and more. So, okay, amazing. Well, everyone, if you enjoyed this, make sure that you either message Taylor letting you know that you enjoyed it, or you can comment down below here. Thank you for coming on, Taylor. I know you're busy. I mean, obviously you're running a pretty big business at this point with a couple different people involved in it. So thank you for coming on. Thank
you. This was actually really helpful in terms of looking back at where I once was to seeing now where I am and seeing the growth that's happening since I started. So it's cool to reflect.
Yeah. again, and that's a self-awareness piece where you can then celebrate and be like, hey, this what got me here. What's gonna get me to 25K months? I know you have really big goals, and when we talk about your vision, you have really big vision for where you want to be in 5-10 years. So no, good to reflect, celebrate, then set the next milestone and go ahead and achieve it. So amazing, guys. Well, thanks for watching this. Now, if any of you are watching this and you're interested in actually a CCI, we actually do have 3 available spots this week if you're interested in joining. And in addition, we're actually running a challenge starting today. It's actually our 3K in 3-day challenge. This is probably backwards for you guys. But anyways, if you're wanting to get some clients for free on us on the house, make sure to reach out to me. We're starting today at 3 o'clock. But anyways, thanks for jumping on, guys. Taylor, thank you for sharing all these insights. And we'll be chatting with all of you guys super soon. So enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, bye for now, guys.